All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wagers on Campus, your home for weekly college football coverage with shows dropping every week. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you could share, that would be greatly appreciated. But thanks so much for tuning in and checking us out as we break down college football. And guys, we have a national championship game this upcoming Monday. We're talking Indiana Hoosiers, Miami Hurricanes, winner take all. Appreciate you checking us out. Thanks so much. What's up, everyone? I'm Mayor, and I'm here with Xander.
Hello.
How you doing, Xander?
Oh, just wonderful. Feel I can feel the nostalgia coming back from a year ago, going into recording this show of how much less nervous I am and more clear. I mean, I guess I was clear a year ago on who I think is going to win and cover, but a different feeling going into national championship this year.
Yeah, for sure. We were both right. Like, we liked Ohio State last year. Now, they did their best to try to blow that cover, but they were able to pull it out in the end thanks to a big pass to Jeremiah Smith, right?
Yeah. I mean, that will be the best thing Jaden Fielding has ever done in his Ohio State career. And I mean, that's the kicker, is making that kick with 50 seconds to go to make it a 11-point game.
Exactly. Otherwise, we're looking at push city.
Yeah, push or backdoor for those of us that had 8.5 right before kickoff.
Yep. Well, this week we're going to be talking about all things national championship. We're talking about what the last round of the college football playoff looks like, and we'll talk about a couple big portal moves and an update on the Los Angeles Chargers' road to the Super Bowl. Just had to put that one in there, huh? Hey,
Yeah.
what the hell was that? What in the world was that?
Just getting into it now. Yeah. Spoiler alert. Yeah, I mean, that's just what Michigan men do when they don't have the cheat sheet in front of them. They crumble to an Ohio State man in Vrabel. So it was unsurprising, to say the least. Full on, belt to ass, Patriots, Chargers. And half of their Super Bowl is eliminated.
That was a fake prediction anyway.
Oh, okay.
But,
yeah.
I just don't get it. I know the Chargers' offensive line has been pretty bad all year long, but this Patriots defense hasn't exactly set records themselves. So 3 points. How pathetic. How pathetic.
Yeah. That offensive line was just crazy. I mean, it was truly one point. Just have to feel bad at some point.
Crazy. Greg Roman, he's out of there, the OC. But this isn't an NFL show. This is a college football show. News and notes. We'll start with some transfer portal news. Transfer portal landing some big fish. Why don't you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of news and notes from this past weekend. Obviously, the biggest, Sam Levitt, our boy, ends up at LSU with Kiffin. I was surprised. I thought Miami would land him. Thought that would be the best destination. But obviously, Kiffin moving to LSU from Ole Miss was a little bit more enticing to Mr. Levitt. So his odds are up there already for Heisman next year. Heisman frontrunner, odds were released. Arch again gets a big bolster to lineup. Cam Coleman, who I predicted going to Ohio State, let me down and lands in Texas. That's a huge get for Texas. Number one wide receiver in the portal. He'll be the number 2 wide receiver next year in the NFL draft, obviously since Jeremiah Smith is coming out. But he has freakish talent. If Jeremiah Smith wasn't playing football, Cam Coleman would be the talk of college football. Just played on a bad Auburn team.
Sure.
Yeah, a couple big names. Ohio State lands a couple players from Alabama. James Smith, the number 1 D lineman in the portal. And then yet to decide, but I don't know if this is a surprise or not, but Jordan Seaton, 5-star plus offensive lineman out of Colorado, hit the portal this week. 6'5", 330. Biggest news with him, there's some rumors going out there. Starting price, $2.5 million.
Man.
buddy, you got to get in the portal early if you're going to start barking demands like that.
Yeah.
So,
God damn.
yeah, a lot of moving and shaking in the top 10 in the portal. Notre Dame grabs both of Ohio State's wide receivers that hit the portal,
Okay.
Quincy Porter and Mylan Graham. But, yeah, obviously, only one of those players was going to get starting time at Ohio State this next year. You know, they were looking to retain Mylan Graham. He decided otherwise with Chris Henry coming in and Brandon Ennis staying, Jeremiah Smith, obviously. Yeah, the room gets pretty full pretty quick at Ohio State when it comes to wide receivers. So
Oh yeah.
can't blame those guys for looking to get some playing time. Raiola to Oregon, our boy. He saw that picture of Mahomes losing that bet and wearing an Oregon jersey, and he hit that submit on leather of intent right away.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How do you feel about that? You know, Raiola, good quarterback. Haven't been as overwhelmed with his performance as I expected to be. Like I guess he hasn't been as good as I thought he would be. Not to say that he's been bad. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, starting as a true freshman is always tough, and I think given with what he was dealing with and surrounding talent, you know, I think he's pretty good talent. Put all of the antics aside, I think he's a player that they're going to want potentially redshirt this year because we'll talk about here. Dante Moore is coming back.
Yep.
And Raiola already confirmed he's going to take a Dante Moore approach where Moore came in, sat behind Dylan Gabriel, knowing Gabriel would start, no competition. And yeah, so that's interesting. Very interesting.
I wonder if he's going to get on some different type of like training, fitness, diet program at Oregon. It looks to me like he could lose a little weight.
I mean, first of all, mean. Second of all, he wears that flak jacket. So I don't know if we know if he's a bigger boy or just like he wears like the padding all the way down to like the hip.
Sure. And his pops was a center in the NFL, so
True.
Just has the big bones.
Yeah, obviously some other names, but you know, people listening are going to be more familiar with quarterbacks.
How about Josh Hoover going to Indiana?
Hoover to Indiana, it's big.
You like that move?
Yeah. And then you have Mendoza's little brother sticking around.
Interesting.
I don't think he is talent to compete with Josh Hoover, but we'll see. Lagway goes to Baylor. Deuce Knight goes to Ole Miss. Had a nice little end of the season at Auburn there when he got some playing time. And Byron Brown, huge start to the season at South Florida. You know, kind of tapered off, but you know, G5 perspective, very good. Elite athlete, goes to Auburn.
Follows his coach.
Exactly. Speaking of following coach, Rocco Beck goes to Penn State. And then Gunkenmeyer from Penn State goes to Virginia Tech.
Okay.
Your boy Aiden Childs ends up at your home, Northwestern. You can't ditch this guy.
For sure.
And Bo Pribula goes to Virginia. And that's really it. As for any names that really pop out, Calandria, UNLV guy, goes to Nebraska. Yeah.
Yep.
That's really it.
I got a little distracted with the Childs news. I didn't realize he went to Northwestern. So Northwestern gets Childs and they hire Brian Kelly at head coach. Watch out. They might get that 12th spot.
Yeah, man. They certainly will be in the conversation.
That's a Wildcat first down.
Holy fucking soundboard. Those watching tonight, Alex is having some technical difficulties, so he's hiding behind his screen. That was wow, you caught me. That was stunning. What a great growl that was. That could be something like you take into your kids, like bring your dad to work day. My dad does a really good fucking cougar growl or wildcat growl.
The video comes off and authentic Mayer comes on.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if video came back to work and this guy just has his pop topped off.
This guy's a
Top
fucking mute.
top popped off.
Fucking mute when the camera comes back on. Starstruck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So a lot of moving and shaking in the portal, folks. We'll continue to keep you as far abreast as we can. But until then, just don't worry about it.
Ty Simpson, anything you wanted to cover with Ty?
Yeah, so there's been massive rumors. So with Dante Moore sticking around, obviously there were some nasty comments revolving around the New York Jets and wanted nothing to do with that franchise.
Are those real?
I believe so. I could be ball sacked, but I'm not going to dig into it too much. We're just going to run with they were real. And his actions are proving that they might be. Because Moore announces he's sticking around. This rarely works for quarterbacks, so this might be a terrible idea for him. Other positions, you can use some more seasoning, but quarterbacks specifically, I can remember Jake Locker being like projected number 1 draft pick, comes back, gets like 3rd round to the Titans. If that,
No.
recall.
Locker was like 10th overall.
Was he?
But he wasn't any good.
Yeah. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Basically 3rd round down there.
Yeah, 8th overall pick. Sure.
Anyway, maybe I was thinking of someone else then. Fuck me.
Look, man. No, I hear you. I mean, I kind of agree from the standpoint of why aren't you going to the NFL if you have a chance to be a first-round pick? Why would you stay in college? I know the money's the same, or maybe the money is even more. So I guess maybe that's a reason. Or maybe they just like to be a college athlete. But like if you're serious, like if you're a serious football player, you want to get to the NFL when you get your chance to get to the NFL. I would think. That's what I would think. But I guess other people feel differently.
Yeah. No sorority row in the NFL, so
No.
I know that would be enough reason for me to stick around as long as possible.
Oh, you dog.
Yeah, but Ty Simpson rumors, the Brinks truck possibly being backed up. You know, it looks like his time with Alabama is definitely done, but could stick around in college football. Miami missing out on Sam Levitt could be offering over $4.5 million for Ty Simpson to come in.
Miami?
Yeah. Listen, Miami and Indiana are basically planting their flag as we are willing to roll the dice on a new quarterback every single year and maybe get lucky in developing like a 2 or 3 star that sits in the wings. But their boosters seem to be allocating money for a quarterback every single year for a 1-year agreement. Obviously, it's paid off for both of them so far.
No kidding. They're in the natty.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting stuff going on, not just outside of the game itself.
Yeah, for sure. And appreciate that, by the way. Those were great updates. And we got some big news about the future of the podcast going forward in the coming months. I will be leaving the podcast. So Burns, why don't you tell the listeners who our replacements are?
No one. It's a teaser, Alex. Next week, you'll have to tune in next week for an update on what the podcast will look like going forward.
Oh, okay. Tune in next week, folks. We're going to be recapping the Natty after Indiana whoops that ass. Maybe. I actually have no idea what you're thinking. All right. Well, awesome. We're going to move on to a little bit of college football playoff semifinal talk. If you want to skip ahead and go to the Natty, by all means, feel free. But we're going to recap the semifinals. Xander, You were up 3.6 units. Very well done. Your record was 1-3, but you had a monster play on Indiana covering against Oregon, which was correct. Bowl season record 22, 23, and 1, up 1.2 units. And then myself, I went 1-1 last week. Had Ole Miss over Miami, which did not come home. I think I had them +3 or 3.5, and they lost by 4. And then I also had Indiana to cover, and that was a winner. So break even for me.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the card?
Yeah, I just you know what, when I was making the card, I already gave out Indiana on the show. And I wanted to put out 4 plays but I just felt so I don't know. Felt obligated to do it, but I wasn't comfortable in a lot of those plays, especially the totals. But the one play that I was Indiana, and I said this is the biggest play of my season. I'm ripping 8 units on it. I'm just that confident in these Hoosiers, and it was a sweat-free bet. I mean, from literally the definition of sweat-free,
Yep.
You have 3.5. The first play of the game is a pick 6. I mean,
yeah, you're in a good spot. You're in a really good spot.
A really good spot. So, yeah, very, very pleased with last week. I didn't force the other ones just because, I like to give the people a taste. I'm a people pleaser, Alex. I'm a people pleaser.
No, you're fucking not.
I am a people pleaser. All right. I please the people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was everything I got. How
Very
about the
good.
quarterfinals?
Yeah, how about them? We were sure treated to a pretty entertaining game on Thursday, where we saw Miami and Ole Miss go back and forth, and it was the Hurricanes at the end. Game-winning touchdown drive orchestrated by Carson Beck, and the aerial attack for Miami as they win 31-27. Yeah, really good football game. I was impressed with both teams. Either team could have easily won that game. But I think for me, this one probably came down to the fact that Ole Miss just needed a little bit more juice on defense, and they were not able to provide that. And Miami was able to take advantage. I think if Miami had been going up against even just like a good defense, I think they would have struggled and probably lost that game. But Ole Miss's defense has not been the strength of their team this year. And, credit to Miami, credit to the ground game and Carson Beck and the offensive line. They kept him pretty clean the majority of the night. Beck made some nice plays with his legs, as well as some shots down the field. Overall, just a great game. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought the same. I thought Lacey being banged up on a non-contact injury was just brutal for Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's right. That sucked.
Obviously he played through it, but didn't get another carry after his 70-yard run until the fourth quarter, and he had no explosiveness. I mean, he was in there blocking as a decoy, but Miami could tell right away they weren't going to be feeding him. So that sucked. As for the game itself, Ole Miss just completely showed up and dominated the trenches when it comes to defensive line. 10 tackles for a loss, 16 havoc plays created. It was everything we said Ole Miss needed to do to win. And then Miami just pulled it out. It was impressive to see Miami stick around and continue to commit to the run. They also had a couple plays down the field that were where we told them that they could possibly trip up a little bit. I thought Ole Miss secondary was going to be a strength of them coming into the game, and they got beat over the top a few times.
Yeah, they did. Miami hit some big plays, and as far as the Ole Miss offense goes, and like Trinidad Chambliss and his performance, dude. I mean, it took him a while to get settled in, but once they did get settled in, he was letting that ball rip, and it was fun to watch in the second half. They kind of figured out how to move the ball and score some points. We saw two kickers miss long field goals, so like pretty much simultaneously, back to back. Start the second half. Man, Ole Miss's kicker, he's going to be in the NFL. He's a really good kicker.
For sure.
But
two things, I did learn a couple things from this game.
Yeah.
I did not know you can't just dump the ball out of bounds as a quarterback on a flea flicker.
Same.
That's an automatic intentional grounding. So old dog can learn a new trick. And secondly, it feels like if the public team loses, especially on the last play of the game, there's going to be more outrage. And I just want to warn the people that are calling for pass interference on the final play of the game. I just want to warn you what that's going to look like. Because the first team that's going to get that call?
Yes.
Who?
Michigan.
Oh, that would involve throwing a forward pass. So no, not them.
Notre Dame.
NFL. It's Kansas City Chiefs that are going to be getting this in January. Not preferably, but predictably next season.
That tracks.
I think it's pretty easy fix because it is bullshit. You just swallow your whistles. I mean, you tackled him. I mean, that was pass interference. But I get it. You're putting the ball on the 2 from the 30. You just have to go half the distance. Get your calculators out. Like it would have been now an untimed down from the 15-yard line. Like I think that's pretty fair that let's play it straight up, guys. And like the 15 is not just giving them a touchdown.
I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Hail Mary from the 50, like you get to bring it to the 25 untimed down.
Yeah. Hey, Goodell, you listening to this?
Yeah, I mean, seems pretty simple to me. I mean, there have been my biggest problem with it is like other sports have ended that way. There's been NHL. It always happens. Even in playoff overtime, a penalty gets called. Are they much tighter with the whistles in calling those? Yes, but they still have been called. NBA games have almost ended at zeros at the free throw line. It's like you can't just throw away the rule book because it could determine the game. Like that's on the player to not commit the foul, not on the ref for calling it.
Yeah, I think your solution's a good one. But yeah, fans crying about Hail Mary pass interferences, they're crying about the wrong thing.
Yeah. That was a terrible throw, though. It's like he threw it like he was on the 60 or on the 50.
Yeah.
Like you had a 27-yard pass, brother. Just get that thing on a frozen rope to the back of the end zone.
I know, especially after playing so well all game.
Yeah. Sucks that we only got 1 year of Trinidad Chambliss.
For sure. That dude's electric.
Yep. All right, next game.
Next game, Indiana 56. Whoa. Oregon 22. And it wasn't even that close, folks.
Oregon did the same thing last year with Ohio State. They got to 21 or something, or 22. And I mean, the game was long over by then. So you got to give it to Dan Lanning for 10 years from now, Dan Lanning, when they look back. Unfortunately for him, they have video evidence of everything. So
just a combination of Indiana playing really well and Oregon shooting themselves in the foot and knee and other body parts time and time again. It was self-destruction against a excellent football team. You're not going to win. So, oh, yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than Indiana's really, really good.
Craziest stat: Indiana finishes with one more yard than Oregon.
Wow.
One. With 13 less plays. Obviously, story of the game was turnovers. 4 turnovers for Oregon. Dante Moore looked like he shouldn't even be declaring for the draft for capability issues, not for any sort of money to come back. He looks like a deer in headlights out there. And we both supported this Indiana team. I was very confident in it that they look so well on the road in Autzen. You're getting them in a dome. They're not the same level. I think I wanted to ask you this. Dan Lanning.
Mm-hmm.
New James Franklin?
Not yet.
His only playoff win is versus James Madison.
How long has he been the coach at Oregon?
5 years? 4 years?
It's too early.
However long Cristobal has been at Miami, so probably 5 years.
Right. It's too early to sound the alarm bells. Looks like he was hired on December 11th of 2021. So, yes, he's had 4 years at Oregon. I think he's done a really good job. Obviously, that next step is getting to the Natty in the college football playoff. Well, he won 2 games this year because they beat Texas Tech.
Oh, that's right. Soft. Group of 5 and basically group of 5.
Okay.
Group of 6.
So, no, I'm not ready to call him the new James, but he's got to be pretty frustrated with last year's performance, and then this year. How about that crowd being like 80% Indiana fans?
Yeah, I wanted to kind of touch on that as well. You have to see some fatigue from fan bases as well. I really want to see that second game being a home game. The teams that repeated playoff appearances were outgained in fan appearances.
Right.
Like Ohio State, Miami doesn't travel well, but Ohio State just went 3 games on the road last year in December and January. That's a big budget to travel to these games, and they don't make them territorially friendly.
For sure.
So they really need to work on that. And also the game prices. Outside of this national championship, obviously a little bit of different circumstances of potentially the biggest comeback in sports history and a home game for the richest university in D1, basically. That's why ticket price is so high. But other games were like get-in price was like $50. Every Ohio State game last year was, I want to say over 300 to get in the door.
Yeah.
So that really needs to. The fatigue is going to creep up quickly if the NCAA doesn't change that second round to a home game.
For sure, I agree with you. As far as the game goes, I want to ask you what stood out to you most about Indiana's domination? It could be offense, defense, wherever you want to go.
Defense for sure. The havoc created, just the havoc created without blitzing. Just bringing 4-man pressure and just turning the ball over was impressive. And maybe it's all just steamrolling from the Ohio State win to then mauling Alabama. Like, they just seem like an unstoppable train right now.
Man, they really do. And like some of those back shoulder throws that Mendoza was hitting Elijah Surratt on, how the hell do you stop that? Surratt looks like a baby Mike Evans out there. And Mendoza's putting the ball in the perfect spot. Like there was a number of times where the Oregon DB was in perfect position. The coverage couldn't have been tighter. And he's still coming down with these catches. They're still executing these plays. Like when you see teams executing at that high of a level, you're like, oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
That touchdown, because Indiana, they get the pick 6 to start the game, but then Oregon goes down the field and matches them and they score, and it's 7-7. And then Indiana gets the ball. They go down the field, and I think it was 3rd and goal, and Indiana had the guy in the left slot. He ran kind of like a flag route, and Mendoza just lays it out perfectly for him. Just a dime. And Mendoza running the ball, man. I mean, I heard an announcer call him a baby deer when he runs the ball, and he couldn't be more spot on. That's exactly what he looks like. But
yeah, seriously.
He's somehow fairly elusive and makes some plays with his legs too.
It's crazy, everything we're seeing. They've gotten better as the season's progressed. And yeah, it'd be scary if this team was sticking around. Luckily for us, fans of other teams get to see these rentals just kind of flashed off into just this one pan type of fireworks show. So I think it's.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Just a better time than now. Why don't we talk about the game?
Well, before we do, I just want to get your quick thoughts on Oregon and I guess where to go from here. Do you feel like what was the issue? Is the quarterback just not that good? What was the injuries to the running backs super costly in this one? Is the offensive line not as good as we thought? Like what happened?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you've followed us all season, you've heard me be a Dante Moore detractor. I just don't believe in him as an elite talent at the quarterback position. And we are talking about elite situations, semifinals, and playing the best team in the country. And it also comes up to the makeup of Oregon's recruiting. I think they focus way more on speed and maybe an undersized element that has not panned out. They have a certain archetype that Oregon's always had, and it just leaves them kind of trailing. And maybe that will change being members of the Big Ten. You go back to their national championship game versus Ohio State, they just got pummeled. The playoffs the last 2 years pummeled by these Big Ten archetype teams. And so I'd like to see Lanning get a meaner type in the recruitment, bigger size, and we'll see. It's not going to win with Dante Moore.
Okay.
Raiola, on the other hand, I could be buying into Oregon in 2 years.
Interesting. All right. Shall we talk about the national championship game?
Yes.
Okay, great. So now here's our coverage of the national championship game. We're talking Indiana Hoosiers and the Miami Hurricanes. Indiana laying 7.5 points, over under 48.5. This game is on Monday night. Miami Gardens in Florida. Xander, why don't you tell us why Indiana is going to win this game?
Because they're showing up healthy, and they will be in attendance for this game. That's really all you need to know. No. Yeah, man. We'll talk about both ways of paths to each of these teams getting it done and lifting the championship trophy. But I got to be honest, before we dive into any individual stats, what this game, it actually feels like the last time that a national championship game was held in Miami Gardens. Do you know what game that was?
Was it Clemson, Alabama?
No, it was Alabama. It was Alabama, Ohio State.
Oh,
2020.
right.
Yeah,
Mac
2020.
Jones.
Correct.
Devontae
And
Smith.
Devontae, yep. Yeah. When I look at these two teams and compare them just with the eye test alone, that's what it seems like. It seems like, Miami is second or third best team in the country on a season where the first best team in the country is head and shoulders better than everyone else. That's just really what it comes down to. I feel like Miami's a very deserving opponent here. A couple of hiccups during the season doesn't define what this season will be for them. But everything that we've seen on the field with Indiana, consistently get better, consistently execute in every aspect of the game, has been impressive to watch. It's been surprising to watch. Mind you, there were 200-1 odds available on this team to win the national championship when we covered our preseason polls, and 60-1 to win the Big Ten was out there. And we're now talking about this team in the same breath as 2019 LSU. Wrap your head around that.
It's insane.
So a few stat factors that pop out. It's interesting. Miami plays a tighter game. Maybe we're lucky to escape Ole Miss. Back to their penalty ways, 10 penalties, 0 against Ohio State. This team is 10th most penalized team in the country. Indiana is the second least penalized team in the country.
Wow.
They're disciplined. A couple things that also stick out. Indiana, number 1 turnover margin in the country. Miami, 16th. To havoc-creating defenses versus 2 very efficient offenses. Carson Beck, up until last week, hadn't turned the ball over for, I believe, 5 weeks before that. Hadn't thrown an interception. So these teams will be hawking that ball, baby. Here's the one thing that really sticks out to me. Indiana wants to run the ball. They do. All these, Mendoza wins the Heisman. Some of the lowest passing numbers. Anyway, statistically on distance, passing yards. But they want to run the ball with Hemby, Mendoza on some design plays. Their running play percentage on the season, 61%. That was 15th most in the country. And the teams ahead of them are like your academy teams, Georgia Southerns, your very limited offenses. Indiana's number 1 team in the country. They're running it at 61% of the time. Miami, on average, faced teams that ran the ball 43% of the time. That D-line that has been heralded as the best D-line in the country, Mesidor and Bain, and rightfully so. I mean, these guys are studs, plug and play in the NFL tomorrow. They could be in for hands in the hips type situation here if Indiana is able to get the script that they want out of this game. Miami, I've noticed the last couple of weeks or last couple of rounds, I believe 4 out of the 6 drives, when you combine the first 6 drives of Ole Miss and Ohio State, have been 3 and outs. They've been able to get ahead in the game when it comes to control. And that Ohio State game 0-0 because of a red zone fumble by Miami. But at one point, I think it was like 15 minutes to 3 time of possession in that Ohio State game. A similar situation with Ole Miss, and Ole Miss bangs on a long touchdown run. So still able to dominate time of possession, even giving up a score. When it comes to The quarterbacks, you're going to rely on them. Second and third behind Sand, completion percentage. Offenses, Indiana's third highest scoring in 40 a game, but Miami is the fifth highest scoring defense, 14 points a game. Indiana number 2 at 12 points a game.
Yep.
So it's a bend don't break situation here. What is going to break? We look at areas. Indiana is first in the nation, third down conversion percentage at 57%.
Wow.
Could they have found their potential what is it, Achilles heel? Because Miami's 10th in the country, only allowing 31% conversion. That's going to be a big factor in winning this game, is getting off the field. And Indiana's right there with them at 31% as well, at 9th in the country. So those are some big factors. And then when we look at any EPA advantage, explosiveness is the biggest problem for Miami. They had 5 explosive plays last week against Ole Miss, but Ole Miss's defense is not even in the same solar system as what Indiana is going to be bringing to this game. So when I look at comparing these two teams and who's going to win, I see Indiana having the advantage in explosiveness, especially containing that stuff rate. Miami's not going to be able to run the way that they've been running the first 2 rounds. And Indiana leads in every category in EPA when they go head-to-head. Early downs, Indiana is going to keep you behind the chains. And then on offense, they're going to get ahead of the chains. They are going to allow the least amount of havoc, and they are going to bring the most efficient pass rush in the country on standard rushing downs. That 4-man rush that we talked about that really killed Oregon. Miami, when they get behind, we'll see what they have. Haven't been behind yet in the playoffs. They've been in these nail-biting situations, so they have been tested. But at the end of the day, Indiana checks every box. And on top of that, these are all grown men that understand where they're at and understand the maturity levels of what it takes to show up and win games versus expecting to win games. I think this is another. It's weird that it's the same spread as last season, national championship. I think we look at the makeup of the teams of just NFL caliber players. Miami has those defensive linemen, but outside of that, some offensive linemen, but it's like Carson Beck, Malachi Tony, true freshman. We'll see how he pans out. It's like Indiana just has a ton of guys that will be playing on Sundays built from the Cignetti factory. So that's how Indiana wins, is they show up and execute like they have every single week.
Yeah, really good breakdown by you. Thank you for that. I expect Indiana to win and cover in this game. I mean, we're talking about a team that steamrolled just about everybody in the regular season outside of early game against Iowa in Iowa City that they had to pull out, and a close one against Penn State. But, they beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game, and then obviously in the playoffs, they beat Alabama 38-3. Sheesh. And then they follow that performance up with a 56-22 win against Oregon, a really good team. So you got a squad firing on all cylinders at the moment, and they have the Heisman winner. Cignetti is the hottest coach, Boz, in college football, and this team is rolling. And Miami has had a very outstanding season, and they deserve to be here. Like you said, they beat Texas A&M on the road. Then they beat Ohio State, and then they beat Ole Miss. Really, really, really impressive run by the Hurricanes. If Miami is going to pull the upset in this one, playing this game at their home stadium at the Hard Rock, this game, to me, feels like it needs to be a lot like the Big Ten championship game, where Miami muddies this thing up. Their defensive line is really able to go blow for blow against that Indiana offensive line and contain the run and maybe be disruptive with their pass rush, possibly get to Mendoza a couple times, maybe tackle him when he's trying to scramble for a first down, force a couple turnovers, protect the ball on their side, and win the special teams battle. I don't think Miami is going to be winning this game 31-27. That's the same score that they beat Ole Miss by. That game was more of a up and down the field, both sides moving the ball pretty efficiently after a slower start to the game. This game, to me, if Miami has a shot to win, you're playing ball control. You're not turning the ball over. Your defense has to show up. Your defense absolutely has to show up. And you muddy this game up. And you win a game like 20-17 or 17-13 or 13-10. Something like that, I think, is the recipe for Miami in this game. I think the problem is they're playing an Indiana team that's just so damn good right now. I don't know what else they need to do to convince you if you're listening to this and you're thinking like, I don't know, I like Miami. What does Indiana have to do more to show you just how well they're playing at the moment? And I don't know if this was due to Ole Miss's offensive tackles, the plan of attack, Chambliss just being very good, but it's not just me. We really didn't hear or see Mesidor and Bain wreck that game last week whatsoever.
No. I mean, the way that everything was designed, they were like getting the ball out in the flat, and like the ball was out in under 3 seconds every single play, it seemed like.
Yeah. So that's kind of the recipe that I see for Miami if they have a shot at pulling off the upset. But overall, I like Indiana in this game. And are we giving final score predictions?
Yeah. I just point out a few things why I think Miami can win. Other notes: these two teams are both top 5 in first half opponents' points per game allowed in the first half. Mm-hmm. Indiana at 6, just under 6. Miami just above 4.
So play the first half under.
First half under, maybe. Could be a play. Yeah, so I agree on a lot of your points. I think also something that needs to be said is that Carson Beck is also a grown man. 7th year. It's been pretty viral going around. And he can play to the level of putting them in a position to win. A few things that Miami will really thrive at is offensive line and route running on just these shifty wide receivers that they have. It's something that Indiana really hasn't seen all season when it comes to the wideouts that they are defending. Ohio State brings a different type of wideout when you line up against them. So I have to wonder, too, in preparation, Carson Beck has been on the sidelines for 2 national championships. Obviously contributed nothing. Those are both Stetson Bennett championships. But he was there. He was in the building, saw the preparation, saw what it took to be a national champion, has 2 rings on the team. So I do have to wonder if that experience will help in getting prep for this game. That is something that does concern me. This Miami team has been written off all season. They are going to be able to create havoc. If they're able to create havoc. Mendoza has turned the ball over in big games. We've highlighted that. up until the Alabama game and last week against Oregon. Every big game before that, he had at least one interception. Penn State, Iowa, other Oregon, the road to Oregon game, Ohio State, Big Ten championship. So Mendoza isn't a perfect quarterback that can't be turned over. So I think if Miami's going to win this, I actually kind of disagree with you. I do think they'll have to win a shootout just because I think Indiana's so overwhelming that they're just going to get their points. I feel like if you shut Indiana down, shutting them down would be 24 points, 21 points.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is going to be like a lay an egg situation. So Miami can win. They need to pressure the quarterback. They need to turn the ball over. And then they need Carson Beck to air it out. He can't settle. He can't shell up. He's got to play like he did against Ole Miss and just let a couple fly. Because I have a feeling that this run game is not going to be as productive as it has been in the first couple rounds.
Yeah, I think you're right going up against that Indiana defense. And yeah, Carson's just got to let his nuts hang.
Absolutely.
All right. He's got to get one of the Cavender twins back, dude.
Oh, Jesus. He's already in a dangerous situation, if you catch my drift. Go ahead and Google that, significant other of Carson Beck, and you'll understand.
There you go.
Predictions, final score predictions.
Yeah, gladly. I'm going to say Indiana 34, Miami 10.
Wow. 24 points, huh?
That's how I feel.
Interesting. I'm not too far off. I think, like I said off the top, this really screams to me Alabama, Ohio State. Just first and second best teams are just that far apart this season. I think Indiana's 45. I think Miami 21.
Yeah.
And I think those 21 are. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 45-7 at some point and just kind of fighting for some pride.
Yeah, if we somehow have a Miami fan listening to this and they win, that'd be a great clip. I could see it being 45-7.
Yeah, I mean, we lucked out last week. We were on the same sides. I thought for sure we were going Oppo there. So that's how good this Indiana team is. Even we couldn't take them down last week in both agreeing.
Took me a minute to get here, though, because in that Big Ten championship game, I think Ohio State was laying 3.5 at close, and I just remember looking at that line, thinking to myself, what am I missing? Ohio State's going to cover this number for sure.
Yeah, and we were missing it all. They were holding back this unbelievable muscle car in a suburban garage that no one else on the block has ever seen before.
And that would be the entire team. The entire team was the muscle car.
Correct. Yeah.
Obviously, I'm excited. It's nice to have some new teams in the championship and just kind of in these final rounds of the playoffs overall. But it's really all I got for you. Anything else we need to cover?
Yeah, and just for thanks for tuning in to the preview of the national championship. Please like and subscribe if you could, and check out the rest of our video covering the lead up to championship week. And we will also be back next week recapping the game, recapping the season, talking about future plans. So thank you for checking us out. Boom.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Hold on, Mayor. Alex.
I'm here.
Now, as we wind down the football season, Uh, I think you brought up a great point. Do you think that we're all making fun of right now, or having our fun, I should say, with the SEC being excluded? I thought that was a great call out. Miami, Indiana here. It's great seeing two teams like this in the national championship, but does it feel a little remiss without the SEC?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I guess we've gotten used to it. Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Tennessee. Oh, wait.
Oh,
Sorry.
Hold on.
Sorry. Yeah, it's a little different. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head when the last time we've had this.
I think it's funny bringing that up in a 136 team league.
Right.
Like, we need new faces and new teams in there to keep the intrigue. Obviously, all 136 aren't competing for a national championship, but by the letter of the law, they can. But yeah, I just thought, Ole Miss and Ole Miss being the last SEC team. How about that?
You don't see Kennesaw State competing for a championship anytime soon?
I don't know. All they need is a bump up to a bigger conference.
Last year, obviously, Ohio State, Notre Dame. So, whoa, 2 years in a row, no SEC. Uh-oh.
3 years in a row. Washington, Michigan the year before.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty interesting. Also, just kind of wrapping this up, I think we need more East Coast venues, and there's domes going up. I imagine Nashville will be in the mix for a national championship pretty quickly once that opens up. But like Indianapolis, if Indiana's going to be a new power, Indianapolis should be able to host a national championship. I just want to see these bowl games a little bit more centralized to the teams that are always playing SEC, Big Ten.
Yeah, I would like that as well.
Any NFL thoughts you wanted to share with people? It was a pretty chaotic first round.
Yeah.
Would you like a therapy session at all?
No, I appreciate it, but no, I don't want to talk about the Packers.
Okay. Any Jags trauma you need to get off your chest?
I guess no trauma with the Jags. I'm proud of them. I thought they played well against Buffalo. Just needed to capitalize on one or two more opportunities. But the Bills, like, to their credit, they played pretty damn good in that game.
Yeah. What are you, the reporter there? Just giving some affirmation. Just so damn proud of this team.
Yeah, I am. They're in my backyard. Shout out Duval. But
no, that was
they really were a legit team, and it's just too bad that they got knocked out in the first round. And it wasn't even because they laid an egg; it was just because they played a good team and lost.
Yeah, 100%. Has your mind changed at all? Have you adopted my Bills Mafia mentality?
I was never against it. I think that's the thing. I think you got me confused.
You were never fully bought into it. Real thing.
I wasn't, because I didn't know who was going to win Bills Jags.
Yeah.
I really thought that was a difficult first round matchup. And guess what? The Bills have a difficult second round matchup against the Broncos, and they lose 2 more wide receivers to IR. So currently on the active roster, they have 3 wide receivers. Shakir, Keon Coleman, I don't even know if he knows the game is being played on Saturday. And
Brandon
Cooks. And I don't know if Joshua Palmer is healthy. I'm assuming he's going to be active, but he's been a healthy scratch as of late. And obviously the Bills, they win in other ways. They're not, heavy on their wide receivers, but look, I could come around to it. And I'm very curious to see Texans Patriots. But if the Texans don't have Nico in that game, that's going to be a tough blow. And I don't think they will have him. And I'm just kind of jumping around all the games here. 49ers Seahawks. I think the Squawks have the clear advantage at home, much healthier. got the rest advantage.
7.5 was jarring though for a actual divisional playoff matchup.
Sure.
For a team that just won 17-7. I know the offense was really shut down for San Francisco, but no Kittle. I get it. But CMC and Purdy, got to give him some credit.
Right. The team don't quit. And another team that doesn't quit is the Bears. They are 3.5-point dogs against the Rams. Feel like temperature at kickoff is going to be like 3 degrees. So it's going to be brutally cold in Chicago. And, what can I say? The Rams are the better team, but the Bears keep finding ways to win these games. So I'm not going to lie. I'm a little nervous. I hope the Rams come through for my fandom purposes, for my sanity purposes, and also we have a future bet on the Rams, so that would be nice.
Yep. Just not looking ahead at the possible scenarios. We have 2 Dome boys as our relying on our futures with Stroud and Stafford, who do not play well in cold weather. So this is going to be a tight butt cheeks weekend for the futures.
Yeah, can't wait though. We got divisional round this weekend, college football national championship on Monday.
I did see a pretty hilarious tweet of, Broncos have Patrick Surtain, who will shut down any wide receiver 1. Bills GM is playing 4D chess and has no wide receiver 1s anywhere in the building.
Exactly. Surtain is covering Dalton Kincaid in the linebacker spot the whole game.
Exactly. Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. I could see a under matchup in that game.
Me too.
I just love talking ball, no matter the premise. But those are your betting angles. Read between the lines there of the teams we like, and the Patriots are going to roll. Mark that down.
They might. They were impressive on Sunday night against the Chargers, so they might.
Vrabel versus McVay would be all-time just football guy sideline lineup.
100%. That would be a good matchup. That'd be a good matchup. I'm cheering for the Bills to make it in the AFC though. Even with our Texans future, I don't know. With the Texans future would be nice, but I just want to see Josh Allen get there. I don't even necessarily need to see him win one, but I want to see him get there.
Fair. Absolutely fair. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Love you. Bye.